Tell stories, and our story is tennis, and we are not talking about wild cards. We're not talking about wild cards at all. Just let's get this thumbnail sorted out. We are talking about player interviews and the players that are being interviewed. We want to talk about are the ladies. Just a short, sharp announcement to let you know what to look out for, because we're bringing you an entirely new dedicated format of content. And it's all starting today and tomorrow. And first we're going to explain to you how it will work for the ladies in the WTA side of the draw at Wimbledon 2023. Don't go away, we'll be right back. G'day and welcome back to this Australian Open Live. We're pretty excited because we've got a brand new content format to announce. We are going to be rolling out player interviews for both men and women. And so just settle down. We know some of our audience have been asking for this for quite some time. Some of you over a year, and Carolyn B, I'm talking to you. You will know from our Australian Open coverage earlier this year that we did manage to find a way to bring you the media conferences and on-court interviews for the winning men's doubles champions, Jason Kubler and Rinky Hijikata. Well, we've been mulling on this and doing a bit of research and investigating and just thinking it through, and also reflecting on some of the other professional sports content producers that we like to tap into with regards to Celtic Football Club in Glasgow, the MLS, some of those channels. We also took a great interest in the Canadians as they found their way back into the World Game late last year. They were at the World Cup for the first time in 32 years, would you believe? And their sports content, we were taking all that in while we were listening, and now of course with Ange Postecoglou going to Tottenham. So it all comes together. How can we serve our audience? How can we bring something new to the table beyond our own content library, which we've been publishing now for pretty much well over a couple of years, and we want to grow our audience. We want to reward our audience for their interest and their patronage, and we know that we're not the biggest content producer going around, Wise Words Media. We're based in Melbourne, the home of the Australian Open, but we want to open out our content offering and just go a little bit beyond the niches that we've chosen for ourselves anyway. So let's get straight into it. So no, we won't be conducting in-person player interviews with any players or former players. Not for the time being. That's not to say that we won't ever do it in the future, but for the time being, that's not what we'll be doing. And unfortunately, because we're an independent content producer, at the moment we can't seem to score a Guernsey live in person at the press conferences at Melbourne Park, and that's just the way it is. You've got to be an accredited media representative representing a mainstream media outlet or an international media outlet who has commissioned you to attend, and you have to have a letter of introduction. So that's out of our hands for the moment. Not to say that won't happen in the future. So what the hell are we talking about? Well, let's just have a look at what we can do for you. So the simplest thing we can do for you is point you the way of the Wimbledon press conferences. You can get there anytime you like. Right now, all these player interviews, they're already talking to the media. Now that they're all starting to bed down in the locker room, sort out their lockers and set them all up, and you can see there that there's plenty of your favourite ATP and WTA tour players in no particular order. I'm pretty sure that the order that you see on your screen is simply just the order that the players have been presented to the media in and have been interviewed in, and it's just one person after the other getting into the media conference room there. And you can find this all yourself if you're cluey, if you've got a little bit of desktop researching skills, you can find all this stuff by yourself. But look, let's be honest. We're all pressed for time. There's the cost of living pressures, the time pressures, the family pressures, work pressures. This is what we're good at. This is our bread and butter at Wise Words Media, so let us do all the hard work for you. We are more than happy to bundle it all together and package it up and put it in one easy-to-find place. So you'll find the URL here. We're happy to share it. Because you can see there's some interviews there that go, some of them go for 8 minutes, some of them go for 13 minutes, and you can see old Nick Kyrgios down there. We're not talking about him today. So you can please yourself, whoever your favourite player is or whoever you've got an interest in. The Wimbledon press conferences are there for you to enjoy, and we don't mind sharing that information because that's what we're all about. It's all about collaboration and cooperation as far as we're concerned. And we just want to make your life easier as a fan of the world game that is tennis, and especially at Grand Slams. So that's the first part of the announcement. Now, the second part of the announcement is, and I'm not too sure if I can show you this page. Let me just fool around here for a second. Actually, let's do this. Let me do this. So I'm just thinking out loud because I've got to be really careful of copyright. I don't want to get a copyright strike this early into proceedings. But let's just see if we can do this. So let's do this and see if it'll cooperate. Yes, here we go. So let's just do this. So we are going to take, now you can see in the top row there, and for some reason the screen won't interact with me. All right, so if you look at the third thumbnail from the left, second from the right, qualifying day 4. Now this is the Wimbledon coverage. And what I'd like you to know there is that we will be drawing interviews from that full day of coverage. We'll be extracting interviews from all the players that were interviewed there to let them give you some 2 to 3 minute samples of their interviews, whether it's before the match or after the match or during the coverage. We will do that for you. So that's what the announcement is. We're going to be bringing you 2 different styles of player interviews, and we'll package them up. We'll put them out separately. We'll put them out as we'll do them up in separate lists of ladies and men, and we'll also package up interviews from the press conference room for all the big name players, and we'll do that throughout the next couple of weeks. And that's for the ladies. That is for the ladies. So we're coming back later on with a similar announcement for the men, because we know, like, our audiences, they're pretty everyone's got their particular favourites. So rather than do the ladies and the men at the same time, we'll come back in about a half an hour and we'll make our announcement about the how we're going to cover the men off as well. So that's pretty much it for this announcement, keeping it short and sweet, unlike some of our other live streams. In the past 3 days, we've been pumping out a lot of content, and we hope you're enjoying it. So stick with us. You're listening to The Bloke Who Walks. Wise Words Media is a boutique specialist production house in Melbourne, Australia, the home of the Australian Open. We enjoy putting out Grand Slam coverage for the Australian Open here in Melbourne, and for the first time we've decided to stretch ourselves to bring out some new types of content, some new types of formats for that content, and just raise our game a little bit, because we know that there's an audience for this sort of content, and we know that the audiences that we have and have dropping in from time to time, we know that they're curious about what we've got to offer. So stick around with us, and we'll be hopefully be able to maintain this output of content throughout the next 2 weeks, but it won't be as frenzied as over the weekend. But I can also assure you that we'll be aiming to do exactly the same for the US Open. Unfortunately, timing and other priorities got the better of us. For Roland Garros, we weren't able to put our attention to the French Open, but we got there in the end, because it was this time last year, during Wimbledon 2022, that we came up with this idea, and it all started to crystallise and take a definite shape and form. And here we are this year. We're thrilled to be able to get it out. So that's the commitment we're making, to get these player interviews out to you, and just bring something else to the table, all in a radio style, audio only format that is much, much easier for you to listen to. So you don't need to be glued to your screen on the train or the car or the bus or whatever it is, your iPad, your iPhone. I don't know what you're getting all your information off, but we'll be able to put all that into a pair of earplugs, and you put those into your ears and just sit back and relax at whatever you're doing. So don't forget, we've also got a podcast. This Australian Open Life is also on the Acast platform, and we'll leave it there and be back in about another half an hour or so to just tie up loose ends and announce our men's player interviews, and just fill out the rest of the afternoon later on today. Before we go, the one thing I want to remind you is that later on this afternoon we're going to be doing a preview of day one, round one for Wimbledon, which fires up tonight, local Australian time, and we're just going to be doing a preview of the entire round one draw for both men and women, and it's going to be fairly macro in the way we go about it, and the way things are looking, we'll probably just settle into a daily wrap-up that'll go for about an hour or 90 minutes each day, so that we can also put some attention into getting out these player interviews, which will be live streamed. They won't be our usual video packages, which is our bread and butter, but as I said, we want to be more dynamic, more interactive. We want to be more integrated with the content that we're producing, and we want to integrate more with what we think the audience expects from us. But we can only grow and develop if you give us your feedback. So let us know in the comments. Let us know by leaving a like or a subscription. Let us know what sort of job we're doing, even if you think it's just not up to scratch. Let us know how you think we can improve, because because we're punching above our weight. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I am the Bloke Who Walks, and you've been listening to this Australian Open Life produced by Wise Words Media in Melbourne, Australia. A short drop volley from Melbourne Park, home of the Australian Open 2023, and we look forward to Wimbledon 2023 over the next course of days in the next couple of weeks. Let us know who you think will come out champion at Wimbledon in the men's and ladies draw.